what is effective representation before the VA? Okay? It's an important question you should ask yourself. Effective representation is one of the most important factors and contributes to the success of your claim for VA benefits. A lot of people handle their VA claims themselves, and that's fine, okay? It's frustrating, it's time consuming, you'll get mad, you'll get angry, because that's just how the VA is. They're going to throw roadblocks in front of you, but don't quit. Okay? You're representing yourself. Don't quit. As you're representing yourself, boy, are you going to become knowledgeable of the law. Okay? Because in order to be an effective advocate for yourself, or if anybody's advocating for you, they better know the law to be effective. Now, commentators disagree with me on this, but I think one of the most important factors that contributes to the success of arguing on behalf of a veteran is heart. Heart for the veteran, heart for their dependents, heart for this country. Okay? If you don't have heart and you're just in it for a paycheck, you're just not going to be effective. We'll get goosebumps here. So, anyway, look, effective and good representation can be the difference between a grant of a benefit or a denial. We would rather have grant of a benefit. We want to get a notice of decision saying, guess what, Dale? We're going to award you the maximum pension rate of a veteran plus a spouse. Or you're 100% rated 100%. That's what we want, okay? So we try to be effective and good in our representation of our veterans, because we want a grant of a benefit. We don't want a denial. Okay, and we fight hard for that. Well, what about this duty to assist if you are representing yourself? The VA does have a duty to assist you with your claim, but just because you're representing yourself doesn't mean you should just rely on the VA. You or the person who is representing you needs to go above and beyond the VA's duty to assist. Well, what does that mean? Let's take the example of a combat veteran who suffers from a joint disability. The VA would say, oh, all right, our duty to assist, we're going to look at your C file and your military records, and then we're going to send you for a C&P exam. That's it. Okay? But an effective advocate will ask the veteran whether the veteran suffered the trauma to that joint during combat, exactly what happened. They'll help the veteran, they'll help you write what I refer to as a stressor statement, saying that, man, we were in the Battle of Duck Lot and we were running here and there, dodging bullets and, in foxholes, and man, I twisted my knee so bad, I couldn't even run anymore, so I just crawled on my belly everywhere. I don't think the VA is going to help you state that in your claim. Yeah, they got their duty to assist. They're giving you the C&P, or they're providing you the C&P exam and all that. But you got to go above and beyond that. You got to tell them why this injury or how this injury occurred in service. How does this affect you physically and mentally? Okay, socially. The VA is not going to ask you that. We, as an advocate, are going to look for statements from your buddies regarding your symptomology, and we're going to try to find a doctor, physician, psychologist, psychiatrist, whoever it is, to give us a positive nexus statement or nexus of opinion. Remember, we've talked about nexus before. This is connecting your military service to your injury. Very hard to connect PTSD, okay? It's easy to connect a knee injury if you were jumping out of perfectly good airplanes and you hurt your knee and there's medical evidence in your C-file that you sought treatment. But how many times were you injured in the service and you never sought treatment? You just said, I just rub some sand on it and I'm gonna go on about my way, because there's just an aversion. Unless you're just really seriously injured, there's an aversion to reporting any kind of injury, just working through it. Since it's not in your C-file, not in your medical records, we're going to have to provide some kind of medical evidence that says, hey, yeah, I looked at Dale's knee, and that's a really old break, and it looks like, well, more likely than not, it probably occurred when he jumped out of that perfectly good airplane at jump school at Fort Bragg, or wherever they had jump school. So again, we're going over and above for you. So the VA isn't required to do all the development described above that I just talked about. So it's up to us to develop the claim. That's going to make a difference between being granted or denied. While you and your family can obtain representation from a Veterans Service Office or a Veterans representative or an attorney, the vast majority of folks sign up with the at your county, your Veterans Service organization or your Veterans Service Office in your local county, or the one next door. And they're good people, but they're not necessarily going to go above and beyond what you need. If you're fighting to get benefits, you need to fight, and fight until the fight is done, okay? Don't give up, because it's going to be difficult. There are advantages to a non-lawyer like a Veterans Service organization helping you as serving as your representative, but then there's also some disadvantages, and we're going to talk about that. So one of the big advantages of a VSO, Veterans Service Office, is that you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay them a dime. You get what you pay for, okay? But they have, these VSOs, they have access to information that we don't have, because the VA would rather work with a Veterans Service Office than an attorney. These VSOs have access to the VA computer systems. We don't. Now, we have access to upload to the VA system, but we don't have access to actually get on there and take a look at the information. And VSOs do provide continuing education to their officers regarding rules and regulations and things of that nature. Some of these folks work with the VA regional office. They have the contacts, so they have a network of people, and that's all good. I always tell people, I might not know a whole lot, but I know a whole lot of people. That helps a lot of the time when I'm trying to get something accomplished. Same way with the VSO. But again, is the VSO going to go above and beyond what their duty to assist is? I would venture to say most of the time not. It's up to you to fight for the benefit. I'm sorry, but you're just a number. You're going to bring all your stuff into them. They're going to put it in the computer, and they're going to file it with the VA, and then they're done. What happens if you get a letter that says, hey, we need more information? I guess it comes to the VSO, but are they going to do a lay statement? They're going to do a stressor statement for you? Are they going to say, hey, we really need to get a medical opinion connecting your PTSD to your service? I don't know. I would venture to say probably not. That's been my experience. Now, some of y'all have had great experiences with VSO, and again, I'm not criticizing them. I'm just saying from a practical standpoint, they have a duty to assist, but they're not going to go beyond that duty because they don't have to. Lawyers, on the other hand, like myself, we advocate for our clients. I take it personal, which I probably shouldn't, but I get upset when the VA says, well, we need information. We don't think that your client was married. Well, how can that be when in 2018 we filed the application that showed that he was married? We sent in all the marriage certificate, all of her financial data, everything. So since 2018, they were married, and then all of a sudden we're moving forward here. Veteran dies, we alert the VA that the veteran has died. Boom, they cut off all benefits. Well, we cut off benefits because we didn't know the veteran was married. Well, you were paying the veteran as a veteran plus one dependent or spouse. And how did you not know that? And, oh, we sent you the death certificate. The death certificate listed his spouse on there. How did you not know that? So that's the kind of stuff that we get into, and we really try to advocate and fight for our clients, and our clients are our veterans and our families. Okay, but the advocacy environment is unique. Okay, because we all want to do what's best for the veterans and their families. Okay, if you go with a VSO, maybe they can represent you before the Board of Veterans Appeals. I don't think they do. I've never seen one, but I could be wrong. Again, they don't charge fees for the services. We do represent you before the Board of Veterans Appeals, but we got to keep our lights on. We don't get taxpayer dollars, so yes, we charge a fee, but we charge a fee only if we win, and it's a contingency fee. Basically, the VA favors VSOs over lawyers because they're required to adjudicate all claims in a non-adversarial fashion. Let me tell you about a Board of Veteran Appeal that we had last week. I get on the Zoom call. I come up with a hearing officer, nice guy. He says, well, my job is to coordinate this hearing. So we've got me, my client, and my client's children, and nobody from the VA there. So odd. He says, well, let me tell the judge you're here. The judge says, hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm a judge. He's not a law judge, okay? He's a administrative law judge with the VA. But his job was just to take testimony. He could not even decide the case. We had to give testimony, and then he was going to take that testimony and bundle it up with whatever evidence we were going to give to him and ship that to the Board of Veterans Appeals for their ultimate decision. It's weird. Why can't a judge make a decision? But that's not how the system works, okay? In this case, I learned that proceedings before the VA are ex parte in nature. It means there wasn't gonna be anybody from the VA there advocating on behalf of the VA. They were just here in a non-adversarial manner to take our testimony, take my client's testimony. So they're trying to develop facts pertinent to my client's claim and then send those facts to the Board of Veterans Appeal folks so that they could render the decision. Don't understand that process, but I guess it works. Now, the judge provided us with a summary, the administrative law judge provided us with a summary of the applicable law and regulations, okay? And then told us that the VA had a duty to assist my client in the claim if there's anything that we felt that we needed to need assistance with. Now, we had provided the VA with over 573,000 pages, financial data, medical records, everything over the course since 2018 to date, dealing with this issue. A lot of that was duplicate, but we sent everything we had previously sent to them again, even though we had sent them 2 or 3 times before. So that's what contributed to the 573,000 pages of documents. Now everything's in the hands of the Board of Veterans Appeals, and hopefully they'll make the right decision in this case. Let me kind of wind things up by saying what is good advocacy before the VA? Basically a 3-step process. Whether you're doing it yourself, which I feel you're doing yourself a disservice. I think you can certainly do that, but I think you need to either get the VSO or some kind of veterans authorized person, VA rep, or a lawyer to help you. I think you'll have more success that way. So, to begin with, the VA advocate should identify all potential benefits to which you may be entitled. Now, realize we've talked about this in the past where you have your hip bone connected to your leg bone and all that. So maybe you have hip problems because of your knee problems, which is causing you ankle problems. So your primary injury was your hip, which caused you to throw your knee out, which has now caused you to have ankle problems. So your knee and ankle are secondary to your hip. Well, make sure on your application that if you've got something that's being affected by your hip, that it's secondary, that whatever it may be, your knee or ankle or whatever it is, list it. List everything that you may be entitled to, secondary or otherwise, okay? If you are filing for VA compensation, file for VA pension also. Just file for everything. The VA will tell you whether you qualify or not, but the advocate should identify everything that you are entitled to. Number 2, evidence. Whoever's advocating for you should obtain all supporting evidence. This is the most difficult task. One of the big things of being successful for a VA compensation claim is the medical evidence. The VA says you don't have this condition, your private doctor does. Get the opinion from your private doctor, put it in the claim, and submit it. Private medical evidence, or whatever kind of evidence you have as to your claim, put it in as supporting documentation when you submit your claim. It could be photographs, it could be letters, it could be all kinds of different things, mainly medical evidence, but put all your supporting evidence together and submit that. Number 3, once you've got all that supporting evidence together, have your advocate put it together in a logical fashion. If you've got to write a statement, write a statement, and if you want to refer to the record or a specific exhibit, say Exhibit A. But make sure you attach the Exhibit A in order. Don't have Exhibit A at the end of all the exhibits. Go A, B, C, D. So put everything, all the supporting evidence in a logical order. Make sure that it's not lost or ignored by whoever's looking at that. Your goal and the goal of your adjudicator, your advocate, is to persuade whoever's looking at the VA adjudicator to grant your claim. That's the goal. And if you throw up some kind of mishmash to them, they're just going to throw up their hands and deny. So to be successful, the advocate, whoever that is, has got to obtain and present relevant evidence in a clear, concise, and persuasive way, connecting all the dots for the VA adjudicator. In other words, give the VA adjudicator a clear roadmap so that he or she can grant your claim. Hey folks, kind of a dry topic today, I know, sorry about that. But hey, check this video out, top 10 tips for submitting a VA pension application. It'll be worth your while. And until next time, you have a blessed day.